What's up YouTube, Captain Cricket, and today I want to showcase new tools I've been working on since June of this year, and it's a different kind of tool than the other, it's a different kind of like mod than the other stuff that I've released so far on the YouTube channel. Um, Usually I release like cosmetic mods or stuff like that for games, but this time I've been getting a lot more into Python and coding, and so I decided to start to get more used to Python. I decided I wanted to attempt to make a save editor for Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, which is a Game Boy Advance game. Now the reason why I want save editors is because even if you're like a beginner to Python code, save editor is like a good way to get yourself used to the get yourself used to working with hex files, for example, of certain files, like for example the save files of the Minish Cap, and was also getting used to Python in general. Um, so I'll talk more about this. Just get started. But I'm using OBS right now to record this, and when I click on like the file button, you can't see like the options here that I'm aiming at. But when you click on it, you'll see like an option new and open and save. Um, the new and save buttons when you first start won't work because you first need to open a save file, so it will modify the hex files in there when you open it and you save it. So here I even mentioned it here just in case. You can either press Ctrl plus O, or you go to the file section and open it. So I'm just gonna do Ctrl O since it's faster, and I'll just open a save file real quick. So the save file for the game, it's usually stored in a .sav or .save RAM format. It usually depends on like the emulator you're using and whatnot. But I think no matter what emulator you're using, it's always going to have the same like structure and stuff for the offsets. So yeah. So here when you open it, I just open the save file. Um, you can see like a variety of options. So obviously, I'll go through them one by one. Also, I used PyQt by the way to make the UI here. You can use like widgets, you can create them and stuff, and it was pretty nice. It's a PyQt, like Qt Designer specifically. You can make like UI files with them, and you can make the the Python files interact with them. It's pretty fun in my opinion. Um, Anyways, so yeah, okay, so I'll start like I guess from the left side. So the first option you have here is to modify the health of Link. Now the difference between the health and the hearts is the amount of hearts you have. We can go up to 20 hearts. If you try to go any higher, you can't go because that's max. Uh, I'd imagine if you actually did try to like modify the value and make it higher than 20, it probably would work still, but just for sake of like not making the game feel too glitchy, I guess I just maxed out to 20. I purposely did that, so you can go up to 20 hearts. And the health, you notice you can't modify it by tapping here, and that's because I want to make sure that you can only go like in the 0.25 values. So here the highest you can go is also 20, and for demonstration purposes I'll keep it like 6.75, so you'll see how it looks like in game. So the way the health works, like some of you might already know this, like in Zelda games it's usually like one heart is worth like 4 health points, I guess you could call it. So it's like a quarter of a heart would be like 0.25, I guess, for number. So that's why I did like here. Um, that's why I can't go like that's why I can't do like 6.72 or something. Or I purposely made that because it could break the game or something. The rupees now you might notice here it's 1002, and that's because you can't go up to 1002 or even higher than 999 originally in the game. But I noticed that, I mean, I'm going a bit like off course here, off topic a little bit, but the wallet upgrade, the max that you could go is 3, but it can actually go up to 4 and maybe even higher. And when you go 4, expand your wallet. You can expand the rupee up to 1279. If I recall correctly, like if you try to make it any higher, it won't work. Because you'd have to upgrade the wallet value, or no, not the wallet value. I mean, you'd have to. There's extra code that I have to write if I allowed the player to go higher than 1279. But it is possible, I think. But yeah, I thought 1279 is already like too much rupees. But yeah, if you lower the wallet value to 3, you'll notice it automatically goes down to 999, because that's the max wallet in the game allows it to go to 999 as far as I know. And then if you go to like 2, you'll see here like 500. If you do again like 1, the maximum is 300, you can't go any higher. And then if you do 0, which is no wallet before you get any wallet, it's 100. Um, it's the same thing with the bomb bag and quiver in their respective ways. I don't think I gave them an option to go like the force, like to go to break the game, like to go an extra value higher. But I did that for the wallet, in case you guys want to mess with that. Anyways, going back on topic, I guess. So the next option that you can modify here is arrows, and again, like depending on the quiver is like the amount of max arrows they can have. If you change it to 1, which is like the first quiver, they can go up to like, I'm not sure, I think 70 or 50. No, yeah, 50. And then if you change it to 2, you can go like 70, I think, or something. Um, so yeah, with the bomb, it's the same issue again. Like I probably don't have to repeat, but yeah, it's a bomb ammo. So rupee, I already went through it. And then here you can change your name of the file, and I guess like your link's name or whatever. Uh, Now, in game, the max amount of values or digits they can have for your name are 6 digits, and so I made it the same here. So if you try to go like higher than 6, you can't. Like I'm tapping here 7, 8. You can't go higher than 6 digits per name. Um, one thing I found cool about custom names, especially when you're modifying it from like the file itself or whatever, not like in game, uh, is that if you try to do something like at hashtag, percentage sign, I don't know, like this thing for the multiplication, if you try to add these values, digits, you'd think that maybe it would put like some corrupted digits in game or something like that for your file, but what it does, it's actually like, I'm not sure what language it is, but it's as far as I can tell from looking at it, it's Eastern Asian like language, like letters. So if you guys are like interested enough in it and if it's popular enough, I might end up like making a documentation for each like letter of that language. I'm not sure. It's probably Japanese, but it could be Korean or something else. That or maybe it's like multiple languages and depending. But yeah, you can depending on like which thing you add here out of these, like even dollar sign, I think is an Easter as a like letter from that language. You can combine like different letters and make like a word. So that's cool. Because you can't, if you're playing especially like the USA version of the game, you can't do that there, as far as I know. You don't have an option to put Japanese letters, for example. But here, I guess you can do that, like using this. That's a cool detail I noticed. Um, Another thing I noticed about the file name is if you try to do stuff like brackets, I'm not sure about these ones, but yeah, I think it's these ones also. If you try to use like brackets, as far as I know, the file name in game, there's no bracket input option to like input brackets in your file name. So if we try to do this, or I think even if we try to do like double quotation marks or one, or maybe it's one quotation mark that will work. I'm not sure which one. If we try to do that and maybe like a few others that aren't in game, they will actually appear, and I don't mean like they will appear like in the Eastern Asian language. They will actually appear like how they look like here, basically. So that's a cool detail in my opinion. They don't appear like in the file name in game. You can't do that, but you can do that here with our like when modifying the save file itself, or of course when using the editor. Also, you'll notice this Triforce check here. This is don't worry, it's not like a super cool thing or whatever. I mean, it just kind of can make your thing look neat. Basically, what it does is it makes it so the file name um, not the file name. It makes it so in the file select screen, when you look at your file, like for right here, I have file one selected. You can't see like I clicked on it and you can choose between file 2 and file 3. You can't see it because OBS is so. But when you try out the editor, you can see that. So with file one right now, if I enable the Triforce thing check here, it will make like a little Triforce triangle thing appear next to my file at the top right for quickly. If I disable it, then it will remove that Triforce symbol. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty neat thing to add, so like, why not? Um, I'm guessing like normally the symbol is supposed to appear if you like 100% of the game probably or something. But yeah, you can make it appear easier way if you just do this, if you just enable it. Also, here these settings you can modify them easily in the file select screen, but I add them here because why not? The max value is 3 because that's the max in game. I'm not sure what would happen if you put 4. I don't think I ever tried that, but yeah, the same thing here: message speed and brightness. I just thought it was neat, why not add it since I'm already adding all of these. Heart pieces. The difference between the heart values and the heart piece, obviously, like the heart piece is how much heart piece collected. The max I can go is 3. The minimum is 0, so it's like no heart piece collected. Um, yeah, that's in game. You might notice it shows like if you look at the heart piece screen when you pause the game, you might notice it shows 3 out of 4 when you do 3 here, and that's normal because I even tried like going as high up as 4 here, but when you do that it glitches out, and I think the reason why it glitches out is because it's never meant to get to 4 out of 4 like in the pause screen. So the max will always, I guess, be like 3 out of 4. When you look at from the pause screen, I mean, because when you get like a fourth heart piece, it probably like goes back to 0, which is here, and then gives you a new heart. That's what I'm guessing. I think 12 Princess does that way too. So yeah. Um, yeah. The Hatless. I had this big here you know thing here because I want to say that yeah, if you play with Hatless, you will encounter glitches. Obviously, if you have like a new save file, I guess, and then you're modifying that like after you played for like a few seconds or something, a few gameplay before you got the hat, before you got like Aslo or whatever his name is. I guess like you would want it enabled maybe if you don't want to. Yeah, but if you're if you're at like I guess any part of the game after you get the hat, and then you decide to enable it, what will happen is if you decide to like use, I think you could probably use the Smith sword fine, but if you decide to use the fourth sword or the white sword, I'm not sure about the white sword, but if I calculate the fourth sword, and if you try to use like the ghost jar for example, and probably some other items, Link will glitch out, like his sprite will glitch out, and I don't think you'll be able to like move anymore. It'll just like his sprite will be messed up. Sometimes like if you use the ghost jar, if I recall correctly, Link will change to he'll change to a cat, his sprite, and it'll be like an upside down, and you'll see like bits of Link's actual sprite, but it'll be like glitched. So yeah, like some weird glitchy stuff can happen if you decide to enable it. But yeah, but if you decide to not use any items or stuff like that, then you probably could then yeah, you can like play around with Hatless Link. If you're just gonna like roll and I guess like use the shield and that's it, or Smith sword maybe. But yeah, if you're gonna use like the ghost jar and stuff like that, you'll probably run into glitches, and maybe if you try to do some other stuff that I'm unaware of. There's you'll notice there's multiple tabs probably. You probably notice that, but yeah, the last thing here that I want to show for this tab is the misc tab, the miscellaneous, whatever, however way you see the word, but it's the map info. So like your current map when you start the game. So here I add the customize button. So if you want to customize the coordinates, the room, and the spawn animation, and no, I'll get into why like I added this in a bit, but first I'll just talk about this in general. So I'll just enable it for now. So here the area is the map basically, and you'll notice here there's a whole like there's a bunch of maps, and I don't remember how many maps there are exactly, but there's like I don't know, like at least over 60, probably over 70 or 80. Now, obviously, in game, the ID of the maps it goes up to like 100 or 140 or something like that. But and that's like in hex values. But even in decimal values, it will go up to like 100, if I recall correctly. But I'm not sure. But like the reason why it goes up to 100 and they don't have 100 here, or I probably don't have, yeah, I don't think I have up to 100 here, is because the maps, like at least when you've used them in Minish Maker, which is a level editor tool for the Minish Cap, you'll notice all of the maps are, or not all of the maps, but oftentimes like after area 13, which is map 13, that one goes from 13 because Beanstalks is like 13 for correctly, and then this one would be like 15 instead of 14, so it jumped like a value. So area 14, we don't know what it is, like it's not documented, I guess, or something, or maybe were just, I don't know, too lazy to add it. I'm not sure why that's not a thing there, but yeah, it is the thing. And then it's the same thing with other maps, like it jumps, like sometimes it jumps from like, I don't know, map 38 to map 41 the next one. So it's like what happened to map 39 or 40 or whatever. I don't know, but that's like how it is. So that's why there's this much. But even then, there's still like so many maps. Now, you might notice for the first few maps, like on its first three or something, you'll notice when you change the map, the coordinates change to make to make it so then Link can spawn an area where he won't get stuck. Because if you change the coordinates to a certain way, you could end up getting Link stuck inside of a wall or something in the map, or in thin air, and then like he falls or something. So you have to like make sure the coordinates are in a proper area. For the first like, I don't know, 3 or 4, I made it so the coordinates like readjust. For this one, you'd have to like change this to room 6, I think, for this to actually work. Maybe it will also work in room 1, but I'm not sure. But yeah, for the other maps, after that, I didn't adjust it because it's too much work for me to just go through each map, like load it and then save it for every single one of these maps, and then adjust these so like every time you change the map. So if you do like, I don't know, like Castle Garden for example, you have to adjust it yourself to make sure you don't spawn inside of a wall or something and you get stuck in there as soon as you spawn. So now I want to talk about this. So you'll notice like the Minish Cap's 2D game, so X and Y coordinates, horizontal, vertical, whatever. Here you'll notice there's big Y and small y. Big Y, like from my experience messing with this, I'm still not 100% sure what they really mean, but from what I understood, like from talking to Minish Maker devs, the developers of the level editor, and a few other people, I guess like each big Y value is like a tile. So this is like on the tile 2, I guess, and then this is tile 1, tile 0, that's the lowest one, you can't go more, and then like tile 4, like tile 5, and then like I guess like that's from what I understood. And then each small Y is like a point inside of the tile. So like imagine a tile, imagine like you're cutting, imagine that each tile is like you cutting a piece of the room, because it's the room, like the room is inside the map. So imagine you're cutting a piece of the room, and then the small Y is like each small bit of that piece, I guess, like where you want to spawn, can go up to like 255. So yeah, 255 is like the maximum for like 1 byte of a hex value. 255 decimal values is one is maximum for hex values. The big X and small X, I guess, is like the same thing as the big Y and small Y. So yeah, the rooms, depending on which map you select, the maximum amount of rooms will change. For Castle Garden, the maximum amount is only 1 room. If you change to Minish Woods, it's also only 1 room, might be. If you change to like Minish Village, this one has 2 rooms, and this changes accordingly. If you change to like this one again, this Hyrule Town, by the way, does have 2 rooms, but the second one's like broken according to Minish Maker. So I just decided to make it the first room only. Anyways, I want to talk about the animations. Now there are a lot of animations in spawn animations, I mean, in the game, and I'm not sure if I have all of them here, but if I don't have all of them, I at least have probably like all most of the important ones. So here, none would just like have link spawn. That's it. Minish link will have him spawn as like minish size miniature. Um, Fall, he'll fall down. It's pretty self-explanatory. This one, well, it's also self-explanatory because well, not fully, but I'm not sure what it does, to be honest. If I recall correctly, every time I used this spawn animation, the value for it, it just did the same thing as none, which is just link spawning. That's it. So I'm not sure what this one's supposed to be used for. If you guys want to like experiment and then if you can notify me about what it does, that would be greatly appreciated. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure what it's for. Forward log, yeah, I mean most bits are just self-explanatory. Like this is him spawning as Minish Link, but he falls down. This is like when you climb the stairs, from like Hyrule Castle. I think like when you go up a level, or like in dungeons, I think, or whatever temples, whatever they're called in this game. I don't remember what this one does. This one is, yeah, he jumps and then he spins forward, and yeah, this one just spins. And this one like the bird, I guess like the bird that takes you like when you use Ocarina or whatever. Um, Also, before I go to the items tab, I want to show something here. Now, obviously, again, like as I mentioned before in the video, when you click on this, and because I'm using OBS, you can't see the other options here. But when you click on this, you're gonna see like file 1, file 2, and file 3. If you click on, if you change the file, these values, all of them, the name, transfers, everything will change accordingly. So if I choose file 2, my file 2 name is called I called it that, so I'll change to that. My rupee value, my health value, my hearts, the map. This won't change. This the animation, the room, and the coordinates tend to depend on the area. But like, as I said, like after the third one, I didn't bother. So yeah, after the third one, they're all just like default to like this value, I guess, and none for the animation. Um, yeah, but yeah, file 2, like it shows you which map you are in, file 2 at least. And not which room though, but which map, and you can change the rooms and stuff when you will customize. It shows you which heart piece, actually how many heart pieces you have. Here I have one heart piece, I don't have zero, I have one, so it's proper. It shows you the wallets, the Triforce, and then obviously it will also show you the stuff in the items menu, which I'll show you here now. And now the items menu, I guess I'll go back to file 1 for now, but yeah, the items menu, as you might guess, shows you like the info about the items, like more detail and stuff like that, instead of just the ammo, or instead of the ammo. So in here, you have the checks for all the items that you would see in like the pause screen, and like the main area in the pause screen, not the other like tabs when you pause the game in game. So here there's sword, shield, all this stuff. And you might be wondering, like, if you enable the shield, how do you enable the small shield or the mirror shield? Like, how do you choose? Well, you'd go all the way down here to the upgrade section, and then you can select between like the original shield or the mirror shield. Again, like you can't see it here in OBS because it doesn't show it for some reason. But here, like I select small shield and then mirror shield when I click on this button. If you try out the editor, and then the sword, the same thing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 different types of swords. The smith sword, the green version of the white sword, the first version, the red version, the blue, and then finally the fourth sword. Um, and then the bow. There's the regular and light arrows. Um, the boomerang. There's boomerang 1 and boomerang 2. They can choose from the upgrade version of the boomerang. There's the remote bombs and the bombs, the regular bombs. And then obviously, since I already have those, like why not have the bottle stuff? So the bottle, there's a bunch of options. You can have the Nehru charm, Pharaoh charm. You can have an empty bottle, half long long milk, or the full long long milk if you want. You can have water or mineral water. The mineral water is like the hot spring water or whatever. You can choose this for like any of these, and again, like you also enable them or disable them. Now the reason why I allowed the player to modify like the values in here, even if you'd set like in disable bottle 2, is because you can actually here, you might be wondering what this is for. This is for the buttons, like what's currently equipped. So you You can choose what's currently equipped for button B and what's currently equipped for button A. You can make it empty, you can make it whatever, or you can make it, for example, bottle 2, and then here I have bottle 2 disabled, but that doesn't mean it can't be equipped. So I can equip it, and then whatever's inside the bottle 2 they added here, it will be here, even though it's disabled here, so you can't see it in the menu when you pause the game. They can have it equipped automatically. Um, now we might be thinking of like some cool stuff they can do or whatever, and I even messed this myself. You can do stuff like you can have the small shield. This is the original one because there's a mirror shield and the small shield. You can choose the shield here for like um, button B, and then here, for example, you can have mirror shield. You can have stuff the small shield. You can choose the mirror shield here and enable the shield, and then when you open the game, you can see the mirror shield like in the menu and the shield selected here. Or if you want to do like if you want to go even more like weird, you have the mirror shield in button A and normal shield in button B, which in game you can't do that normally as far as I know anyways. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff they can do in my opinion. um, and yeah, so I mean that's like the perks I guess of like being able to modify stuff on the technical level. So when you change it like to file 2 and file 3 even, to adjust them appropriately, or should adjust them appropriately. If you encounter glitches, then you can tell me, and then I can try to fix them. Also, one more thing I want to show here, other than like saving it. I mean, saving it, you just have to. For if you want to save it, you can either go to File and then click on Save, or you can do Control S. Um, Now, one more thing I want to show is if you do Control N or if you go to File New, if you decide to do that, you'll notice everything here goes back to like the default value, or the value like it goes back to like nothing, or like the lowest value or something like that. Here I made it 2 instead of 1 because in game, if I recall correctly, before you decide to modify them, the default value is 2, so I just made them the default amount. The heart pieces, I guess, might be a problem, and I might adjust that in the future if you guys actually care about that. It's not the biggest deal, like the fact that when you click new, it doesn't adjust them, but if you guys want, I could do it in the future. But for now, I guess it's not that big a deal. But for what is a big deal is all of this stuff, they go back to the default, which, or like when you start like a new game, which is not them, not you're not having them, so they're all disabled, so they're all empty, and this is like the lowest upgrade. But it doesn't matter what option you select here, because they're all disabled here, and they're also not equipped. So yeah, it doesn't really matter here. And yeah, that's all and also headless is automatically equipped when you do new and do Control N. That's because you start the game headless. Um, yeah, I guess like it's the beta one right now they released. Now I guess I'll adjust like some stuff quickly, and I'll show you in game like how it looks like. Show you like proof that it works. So like let's say on a 4.75 for the health, and then I do like on a 7 for the hearts, or you know what? Actually, it makes this even cooler. Let's do like 2 for the hearts, yeah. And then you can go higher than the hearts here, but it won't like properly work. So yeah, I'll just then let's say here I make like 1.25. I don't know, the arrows like whatever. Here, and then here I'll just make this like on 876. Oh wait, I need to expand on my wallet more. So let's make it like 876. Let's adjust the area to Hyrule Town, for example. Why not? And then I'll make it hatless. Show you guys the the hatless version. I'll enable random items like molmets, the bow, I don't know, bottle 2, cane, just like random stuff I'll enable, and then like on the shield, and then like I'll change this like the mirror shield. um, I guess the bottle 2, since it's enabled, why not? I'll make it like red picolite or whatever they're called. Bottle 1, even though it's not enabled here, but I'll add in the buttons here, so I'll make it mineral water, and then like I'll add it here, bottle 1. and you know what? I have mirror shield select here, but I'll add the small shield. Or no, I'll add. You know what? I'll add the yeah the small shield. Why not? The small shield. Also, I'll check the sword because why not? And I'll I'll make like the red sword perhaps, and I guess and maybe I should make the water like let's say okay wait let's try to enable like bottle 4 too, and then let's give it like the half long milk. So like imagine like start the game it's like half long milk and stuff. I'll make bottle 3 the B one even though it's empty and like it's disabled. And yeah, I'll see you guys in game in 3, 2, 1. And then also if we go over here, we can see it's 2 out of 4 for the hearts. That's what it was when we left it, I believe. So yeah, so also since I'm playing with Atlas Link, I want to show you guys an example of like, oh yeah, by the way, the rupees are 876. If I calculate that's how much we had that. Yeah, so if you try to, for example, I don't know, like use the mole nuts as Atlas Link. Okay, I guess I don't know, like the bow, like if you try to use the bow as Atlas Link, yeah, you see what happens. Like Link glitches out and then you can't move anymore. It's worse, you know. So you basically like you soft block yourself a lot of times. You have like there's a chance to soft block yourself if you don't if you use Atlas Link and when you're not supposed to use it, I guess. So yeah, that's all that I want to show. Right. For this video, if you want to download the tool, you can look at the description of the video, and you'll see a GitHub page I released in GitHub. And in when you look at GitHub in the front page of the tool, when in the link, you'll see that it shows you like a PI file and UI file. Ignore those and look at the right side if you want to be able to use the tool automatically unless you want to compile it yourself. So ignore those and like look at the right, and you'll see like a release area, like latest release. And at the time of recording this video, the latest release is beta 1. So yeah, if there's a newer version, you should use that one probably because it should be better. Otherwise, why would they release a new version? Otherwise, But yeah, so you can use beta 1 and it's already compiled. It's an exe. You have to unzip. I put in the zip file. You unzip the file and then um, make sure the UI file, because if there's a UI file with GUI.ui, it's in the same. Make sure it's in the same folder as the exe file. Otherwise, the exe file won't work. So just make sure they're both in the same folder wherever you decide to put them in your laptop or PC, and yeah, it should work then. So thank you guys for watching, and I apologize for like not uploading a video and or even like especially a modding related video for a while, but I hope this was like a payoff. I do have some other mods planned, like which are also like code related, not for the Minish Cap particularly, at least the mod, but for like another game. But it's not like in the state that I want to release it at the moment. So yeah, so thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for watching, and see you I guess next time maybe. And bye.